Hey everybody, thank you for joining us at the Retro Hero Podcast, coming at you from the Rose City, also known as Portland, Oregon, home of hipsters and gentrification. My name is John, and this is my always debonair.
Fuck Konami!
Whoa!
Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. It's been burning me up.
Call you debonair and you jump off with fuck Konami? Alright, well this is my debonair co-host, Brad, here, and he does not like Konami.
Who does anymore?
Yeah. I mean,
you like Konami?
I'm a big pachinko fan machine,
Yeah, especially Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater
yeah,
pachinko.
Dude, I love pachinko machines, man. I'm all about them, man. I go to Japan every summer just to play pachinko machines. And specifically Konami pachinko machines. So, yeah. No, actually, I'm cool with No, fuck Konami. Seriously, fuck Konami. Hideo Kojima,
you are
do your thing.
You my homie.
Do your thing, man. But yes, we're the Retro Hero Podcast. This is episode 2. No, we did not get canceled after one episode.
Thank God.
We did happen to be able to make an episode 2.
We're on the razor's edge, though.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Maybe. I don't know. But if you like what you're listening to, you can always hit up our Patreon. Give us $1 or $2,
Yeah, $1 a month, $2 a month. If everyone
that would be cool.
2 or 3 of you listen to this, hi mom. If you guys listen to this, give us $1 or $2 a month. That would really help out. We're just starting out. We need some help from you guys. We've put as much of our own money into this as possible right now. So yeah.
So yeah,
Patreon.
if you like what you're listening to and you want to support us, and we will love you a long time, it's the patreon.com/retrohero. If you want to get in contact with us on Facebook, we just started that off, but we're starting to get there a little bit.
I know you're scrolling on Facebook right now. Just go over to Retro Hero Podcast on Facebook and like us, please.
Exactly. We're also on Twitter at the Retro Hero. That's very bare bones, but if you really want to get in contact with us, that might be one of the best ways, other than our Gmail account, which is retroheropodcast@gmail.com.
No dick pics, please. No dick pics.
Actually, no, please. And actually make sure that you specifically title it for Brad. And say, these are not dick pics. And for Brad.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be great. We and like we said, we were starting off, but we actually yesterday just started doing some Twitch.
Yeah,
we did some
fun.
live streaming. It was pretty fun, we
started out with Mega Man X.
Yeah,
my first time playing the game. I sucked at first.
What did you think?
I loved it, man.
You like Mega Man X though?
I love those type of games. I just never played Mega Man as a kid. I don't know why, but I loved X. I had a blast.
I'm glad.
I sucked at first, but once you kind of just calm down and just notice the patterns, and it gets a little easier. I loved it. I want to play some more, so we'll stream more of that. We had some technical difficulties over the weekend, so it made some shit hard.
It sucked, but you know what? We did have some people that just kind of hung through with us, Tristan and Rob, and we got a new friend, Rare Phoenix with 567.
Yeah, what's up, Rare Phoenix?
Shout out
from Indianapolis.
Thank you for just hanging out with us for a few hours.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, we did. We played some Mario Bros. 3 yesterday. We ran through the entire game. I was surprised. No game overs.
No game overs.
I sucked at first. It'd been a while since I played, and I was failing bad at first.
But you were the MVP though. You took out Bowser.
I did.
I got kind of hung up there in World 8. I was getting a little pissed off.
Well, you know what? I won't lie. I used a cloud on that castle. So
You did. You fucking punk. But we did that. We played some Donkey Kong Country. We were like running on fumes though with Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared to upload that because towards the end we were like halfway awake, but we still managed to beat the game though.
No game overs. We had been gaming for about 12 hours straight at that point. Our asses were just numb.
Yeah, you fucked up Bowser. I fucked up Karul.
Yeah.
So
it worked out in the end.
Yeah. So it was like kind of even there. But so, I mean, it was fun.
We kind of do a Twitch stream. We're gonna do our own individual shit throughout the week, but on the weekends we're gonna try and get together and do some John and myself co-oping some games or versus whatever you feel like doing.
Yeah.
No, so stay tuned for that.
It was really good. I think it was just a good start off, and like Brad said, stay tuned. There's gonna be plenty more. This is just the beginning. But Brad, why don't you tell us about what you've been through non-video game wise?
Oh shit.
Since episode 1.
I've my 12-year-old son, I've shown him some great movies over the ages, but I've been waiting until he gets to about this age to really start showing him the movies that mean so much to me. So this past week or two, we've knocked out Kindergarten Cop, Goonies, Wayne's World 1, Wayne's World 2, I finally showed him Lord of the Rings for the first time, which, as you know, is my fucking favorite movie. So he loved it, man. He loved all of them. I was proud of him. It was cool. We watched Kindergarten Cop and the Goonies pretty much back to back, and I was like, damn, these both take place in Astoria, Oregon, which, you know, we actually, last year, John and I made a trip out to Astoria and checked out the Goonies house.
Beautiful.
It's not what you think it is, though.
Not the house, but the area is beautiful.
Yeah.
The house was actually tarped over.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned, like, people were, like, raiding it or just going in to squat in or something.
They got tired of people coming around. And it's not off the main road. It was kind of weird. We were expecting it to be off, like, a main road, but it's, like, on a weird dirt road kind of going up a hill. And on top of the hill, it's just a tarped-up house because they're tired of people like John and I coming around and wanting to be like, the Goonies house! Oh my god, it's the house! They didn't have the fucking elaborate gate unlocking system still hooked up, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it was just cool just because that's one of those movies that I grew up with. My older brother showed it to me as a younger kid, and I love 80s movies in general. That's kind of that's that generation that really hooked me.
Yes.
It's just those 80s generation movies.
And he loved them all, man.
Was huge.
He loved them all.
I'm so glad Alex liked it.
Yeah, so the tie to Astoria, you know, it got me thinking, man, like, did Kindergarten Cop and the Goonies, they both took place in Astoria, but are they in the same universe? Like, did the Goonies happen and then John Kimball comes to Astoria and, like, do they talk about the Goonies events in there? Like, what?
Possibly.
So it got me thinking, man.
One-Eyed Willie, like, was Detective John Kimball aware of the treasure of One-Eyed Willie?
I don't know. I mean...
Maybe.
I don't know, because he stuck around, and it got me thinking, man, what if, like, I started thinking about, like, possible movie scenarios. Like, man, we need to get a Kindergarten Cop Goonies crossover. Like, the Fratellis escape prison, and, like, Sloth, you know, Sloth and Detective John Kimball team up, and they're like, you know, they gotta go take down the fucking Fratellis again because, you know, they find some treasure, you know. It's gonna have some sort of, like, pirate treasure, Indiana Jones kind of twist on it, but... Come on, man. You know you watch that shit.
The crazy thing, as ridiculous and retarded as that sounds, you know it would, like, kill in the box office.
Fuck yeah. You know you'd watch it. You know
if freaking you can make The Room... If The Room can be made into a movie, Tommy Wiseau can make The Room, we can make a Kindergarten Cop / Goonies crossover.
Sloth love Kimball?
But so, okay, it's like, also on that part, though, it's just like... Oh, man, like, what? Fuck, man. It's just, like, it's wild because there are a lot of movies made in Oregon, though.
Yeah. Oh, Oregon's a big-time movie place because I think the government gives tax breaks to people to come film here. I mean, like, The Shining was filmed here. Have you ever seen the movie?
The Shining was filmed here?
Yeah,
I thought that was filmed in Colorado.
No, Timberline Lodge was The Shining.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, no. You're right. I did hear about that, but...
Maybe not the whole movie, but the Lodge was filmed in Oregon. There's a movie called The Hunted. It's got Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro. That was filmed here. There's some shows filmed. Grimm was filmed here.
Yeah, I remember hearing about
the movie
Grimm.
Stand By Me, another 80s classic, was filmed here.
Stand By Me.
Oregon's a big film state. And it's kind of cool. Actually, right now here we're here in Oregon City. It's a little south of Portland, but they're filming a Netflix high school 80s show here in Oregon City at one of the high schools locally.
Really?
You can drive there now, and they have.
Can I like go be an extra right now?
I think
can I like jump in the scene?
Maybe they were calling for extras before I even knew about it. But you can go to the high school right now, and they have fucking trailers set up and shit because they're filming right now. It's kind of cool. Yeah. I forget the high school name, but yeah. Anyway, move on.
But that's good that I'm just happy that Alex was liking those movies. Yeah, because it's tough, you know. Like you watch if you saw him and he was just kind of like dazing in and out, and you'd just be like, I fucking love these are like the movies that made my childhood.
I hate that when you show someone a movie you love and they're not into it. But but the big one for me was Lord of the Rings. I mean, those movies are so dear to my heart, and I was really worried he would get bored because it is a 3-hour fucking movie. We didn't watch the extended yet. I didn't want to give that to him yet, but he loved it, man. He was there the whole way, and especially when I pointed out that Samwise Gamgee is the kid from the Goonies. Mm-hmm. I forget his name already, but
yeah, whatever. Who cares? But, okay, so, yeah, that's awesome, too.
It's a cool link,
it kind of links
all the
together.
movies we watched were almost, like, linked together somehow. It was kind of cool.
Well, it's like how everybody's tied to Kevin Bacon. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Have you seen it's like the 7 degrees or 8 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Like, everybody has worked with Kevin Bacon in some form.
Hey, Tremors is a goddamn classic.
For me, the only movie I watched over the week was John Wick 2.
Nice. I haven't seen it yet. What'd you think about it? I love the first one.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I did like the movie, but I just didn't... I felt like it left me wanting more though. It just I liked one more. I liked the original more. I wanted like more answers, and I know like John Wick, the first one, really wasn't so much about story. It's just like, here he is and he's gonna kick ass and this is awesome, and that's the same thing as John Wick 2. It's like, here he is and he's gonna kick ass and it's awesome, and it was, but at the same time,
you want depth.
I wanted to kind of like know more about that world or know more about John Wick's past.
I would love a prequel John Wick movie.
Yes, I would too, and they just really. It didn't flesh it out that much on that. Like, it just felt like it felt like John Wick 1.5, not John Wick 2.
But as a straight action movie, was it good?
Yes. If you want action, if you just want mindless, just killing, some of the gunfight scenes are amazing.
Yeah, I love how Keanu like really got into that shit.
It's really good. Keanu's an amazing choreographer with fight scenes and everything. It was if you just want that and you don't want story, it's great. It's great. So yeah. So that was the one movie though that we watched. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. Not too much. I didn't watch as much as you, but
yeah, I mean, I'm taking advantage of the summer and showing him as many movies as I can. But aside from that, nothing really crazy going on this week.
Any video games or anything that you were playing?
Well, yeah. I mean, fuck, I'm still playing Persona 5. Newsflash.
Jesus.
I did get a good chunk out of the way.
Hurry up and beat that game.
I am. I'm going to beat it. And I've also been playing some Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Mainly just Crash Bandicoot 1. It's fucking hard, but
what's the Insane Trilogy?
The Insane Trilogy.
Yeah. Okay,
that's what I said. But the first one is the one I've been trying to get through, and those games are hard, man. Y'all, all those people out there who are like, I forgot that shit was hard. You must have not played the original because it's fucking hard.
I hate the memes that are coming out that are like, I don't remember Crash being so freaking hard. It's like, dude, yes, the game was hard all the time. I remember the demo disc. Yeah, demo disc, if you don't know what
demo
that is.
disc?
What the hell is that? I remember demo disc. You would get game overs on the demo disc. So, I mean, come on.
And that fucking mask, he's like, game over. You're just like, fuck you fucking mask. God damn it. Anyway, I love the brutality of that game. I die a lot, I get game overs, but I keep fucking trucking on because that's how you play video games. You don't give up.
And you're getting there on the Persona 5. All right, so for me...
Yeah, you said you were going to start playing Fez. What do you think about it, man?
While I like the game, it's just not hooking me, though. I'm not... I put in like 30, 45 minutes, and I just get either frustrated or just tired, or I just want something else. It's a good game. It's a beautiful game. I love the artwork and the art style. I love the aspect of it, but it's just... I find myself getting kind of like either just lost. It's a very complex world too. So it's like I'm like, oh, I need to go into this room, and then I'm like, fuck, no, I didn't mean to go in that room. And then it's like, oh shit, like what the fuck? And then I just get frustrated, and that's more of a me thing. It is. It's maybe an ADD me thing. I don't know. I can't really say. Like, it is a great game, but it's just I'm finding it hard to hook me for more than say 30, 45 minutes at a time.
Yeah, well,
I want to sink like 8 hours into it, but it just doesn't.
I never sunk that much time into it at one
like
time.
That.
It's the kind of game where I like to play in short bursts and just keep playing it, even just 30 minutes at a time. Just try and get to the ending because it is worth playing, dude. It really it gets better. Just keep at it.
I'm gonna give it a shot just because I've heard so many good things about it. Obviously, it's one of the most popular indie games for sure.
Hell yeah.
So it's something I want to. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not. It just might take me a little longer than I was thinking beforehand jumping into it.
So John, how's your stroke?
My stroke? Are you talking about Neo Turf Masters?
Yes, I actually am.
So I mentioned this game to Brad. A friend of mine showed me this game. It's called Neo Turf Masters. It's a Neo Geo game, but you can download it on PS4. It's a golf game, and it's an arcade-esque golf game. It's not like super realistic like a Tiger Woods or something. I mean, it definitely has a lot. You have to play against wind, and everything's like on a meter. It's like timing based on your meter for how hard you're gonna hit, how high, everything. But super arcade, super Japanese. I just love it. The music is like a jazzy. You like hear like saxophone in the background. It's like,
that's
like
cool.
It's just so
That's
good.
Cool.
Like you just feel good. It's so cornball, but it's so good at the same time.
Well, maybe we should stream some of that shit.
It's definitely a game that we will stream in the future. But just look forward to it. It's stupid. It's stupid, but it's good.
Cool. Well, we love those kind of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really what we've been playing. Once I get through Persona 5, I've been thinking about either replaying some Phantom Pain or getting into Horizon Zero Dawn. Not sure yet. I kind of want something lighter, like I said, and that's what Crash Bandicoot's been a perfect game for. That is when I want to break from Persona, I'm just like, all right,
Horizon Zero Dawn's not going to be a big
exactly.
break. You mentioned that, but it's like, let's drop another 80 hours in a game.
I want to play that game
while juggling having 2 children in the household and just...
don't care. I'll make time. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about playing next. But yeah, so that's kind of what we've been playing. Another thing we want to talk about is the recent Netflix Castlevania animated series that's come out. It's only 4 episodes, but we watched it, and we're gonna tell you what we think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was like when you actually were the one that told me when they just first announced it.
Yeah.
You're like, John, because you know me, I'm a big Castlevania guy, so you were just like, John, you gotta see this, and I was just like, holy shit! I saw the trailer, I was just like, they better not fuck this up. It better be amazing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know if they were gonna like follow true to the actual game story, which by the way they do, which is amazing. So it's based off of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse for the NES, and they actually do a very, very good job of following kind of the lore and the story of it. And
I love that because with a lot of video game movies or just series, I feel like how do they tackle a character going into a dungeon? You know, it's like, how do they make that into an interesting thing on screen? And I think they really did that well with the Cyclops battle. But
yeah, and that's I mean, and that was true. Is that's how he meets Sifa Belnades. I'm probably butchering your name, but that's how even in the NES game you fight the Cyclops to save her, so you can unlock her and play as her.
I love that,
which is amazing.
We're not going to spoil the ending of the series, but my absolute favorite part of the first 4 episodes was the very first episode focusing on Dracula, man. When he just fucking those demons come down and they just fucking mutilate the town. I love the gore. I love the violence.
It's very gory. It's very gory, but good gory. But good gore.
Especially that first episode, man. I love old school anime, super gory shit, and it kind of followed that model, and I loved it. That first episode was excellent, and the guy. You know, the voice acting's been good so far. Richard Armitage, Thorin Oakenshield playing Simon. Not Simon, Trevor Belmont.
Trevor, yes. Yeah, no, he does a very good job. I didn't realize how good of a voice actor he was. I guess I looked back on his IMDb page and he does like some voice acting and wow, he does a great Trevor Belmont. It was amazing.
Hell yeah.
Really like the casting choice. All the actually even like the minor characters. It's just good voice acting overall.
Yeah, so. it's excellent. It actually kind of exceeded.
It's not Symphony of the Night corny voice.
How about you?
Yeah. What is a man? But.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. I do love the corny shit, but I love how serious they went. I love how Trevor Belmont is kind of a drunk, and he kind of doesn't take shit seriously. I love that aspect of it, and if you haven't watched it yet and you're a Castlevania fan, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch that shit. It's amazing. And if you're just an anime fan, or just, you know, it's not an anime really, it's American produced.
It has the feel though. It has that like art style sort of anime-esque.
It also has kind of that old school 80s kind of fantasy vibe to it, which I love, that art style of the 80s, and kind of like those old Dungeons and Dragons books you'd look through and they're kind of cheesy looking, but
I'm kind of hoping, one thing I do hope for, if I could just do one thing for the future episodes, is I hope whenever he tackles on Dracula's castle, which I'm hoping I'm not spoiling him, but obviously he's a Belmont, he's gonna fight Dracula. Sorry, spoiler alert. But I'm hoping when he actually like goes into Dracula's castle that we do hear some like bloody tears.
Yeah, man. Well,
like I don't know if they could do it, but I just
well, that's the thing about the Castlevania
I would fanboy
series.
so hard if they did that.
There's a lot of memorable soundtracks for me. I mean, I love Zelda. I can fucking hum any Zelda tune, but Castlevania, man, that soundtrack in those games is just fucking spot on, dude. Especially Super Castlevania 4, man. When that shit drops.
I love the opening for Super Castlevania 4. Like nothing. I mean, most of the Castlevania opening themes, something about that opening theme, just it gets you crunk.
It's supposed to
get you crunk to play. Like they set the mood early.
John and I have discussed this often, and if you don't know, I'm a huge metal fan. I'm a huge metalhead. I think a lot of 8-bit music, especially shit like Mega Man, shit like Castlevania, that shit was metal. Like when they were when they were making those soundtracks, they had metal in their mind, or at least
I think so.
And I love it.
You just type in this 8-bit song metal on YouTube, and you're gonna find a metal rendition, and it's gonna sound amazing.
Fuck yeah, man.
Even if it's just some amateur metal, heavy metal, like it's gonna sound good.
I love it. I love 8-bit metal covers. It's great.
So we are.
Speaking of music and YouTube, John, my friend, I'm
in love.
This guy said he was going to be a single man for the rest of his life, but I think he's in love.
I think I'm in love, man, and it's tough. So I have 2 weaknesses when it comes to women.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about big boobs and a pretty face.
Yeah.
That helps. But I have 2 weaknesses when it comes to women, and it's artists. If you're very artistic, if you just something about that, I find that very attractive. And then the musical arts, like if you can play like more, not like if you're shredding on a guitar or playing the drums, that's not really gonna do it for me. But if like you play like
that turns me on.
But like, I know that's for you, but I'm talking about me, man. I'm talking about me. You're taken.
I know.
But like a woman playing a violin or like a flute or a saxophone, like more classical instruments.
Skin flute.
The skin flute, if they want to play the skin flute, by all means. But just something about that, it's just I think it's because I'm not musically inclined and I'm not artistically inclined. So my appreciation for it, and if a woman does that, it just makes me like super attracted.
And if you layer that with video game music,
which kind of is bringing us to my new love here. I was just stumbling across YouTube, and I like to listen to a lot of video game music, OSTs and stuff, or any renditions. And this girl, her name's, I want to pronounce it Mklachu. Anyways, I'll spell it out for you. It's MKLACHU. And she plays the violin, which is amazing. But the thing that got me, the first thing I saw was it's called the automaton.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes,
it's such a weird instrument.
Yes, it
is. It's a Japanese toy that's like shaped like a musical note.
Yeah.
And it's actually it is violin. And
you squeeze the ball at the end, and you kind of
the head. It's a head.
Yeah, you squeeze the head, and you kind of fiddle the. There's like a long kind of slidey thing with your fingers, and that's how you play the notes.
Yes,
it's cool. They're badass,
and she's amazing. So she takes on all these retro games and Zelda, but the one that got me, the first one I saw, was she did Phoenix Wright, the Phoenix Wright theme, and it was like love at first sight. I wanted to marry her on the spot. I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna go buy a ring. I'm gonna go do it right now. I don't even know who this chick is, but I'm gonna do it. Actually, she's pretty easy on the eyes too. She's not too bad looking either, so that's why I like.
Yeah,
but
check her out.
Check her out on YouTube. Her most popular video is actually Sonic R.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like one of the themes, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
She wears like a Sonic head mask type thing that makes her look like she has the Sonic ears and spikes. It's hilarious. It's stupid, but it's hilarious. But I'm in love.
And while you're there checking her out on YouTube, don't forget to check out Retro Hero on YouTube as well and subscribe.
Yeah, so right now we have the first podcast on, but we're gonna put up at least our Super Mario 3's run through.
For sure.
We're gonna do that from our Twitch, where we have to do it because Brad actually looks good playing that game.
For once.
So it's
it was my first time playing.
He insisted that we put it on. I became a Goomba rights activist.
Oh jeez.
You'll notice that I am now going to be the Quan LX of Goombas.
Secret. John killed 4 Goombas.
That was by accident. I am a Goomba rights activist. Goomba lives matter.
No, they don't.
They do.
Goomba lives don't matter. They're
Goomba
there for
lives
you
matter.
to kill.
No.
And I will kill every Goomba.
They
with
have
extreme prejudice.
They have no representation, so I'm going to step on my soapbox and represent them.
We're gonna be divided there.
Yes.
We're gonna be divided.
And then we're also remember Bullet William? William.
We were kind of joking about Bullet Bill, and you know Bullet Bill seem like a pretty fucking.
Everywhere.
They're
There's
edgy,
a lot of them,
and I feel like they're pretty edgy dudes.
Yeah.
But there's one Bullet Bill out there who just wants to be called William. He's like, I'm Bullet William. All right, I don't want to kill you. I just want to like sip tea, wear my fucking top hat, and just fly around and enjoy the scene.
You know what? All the other Bills don't.
We love you, Bullet William.
No, all the other Bills don't like him though.
Well,
because it's like, hey, Bill, what's up, Bill? Oh, what's going on, Bill? Yeah, what's up, Bill? And then he's like, actually, I'm William, and it's just like. Dude, fuck Bullet William. Nobody likes Bullet William. He sips tea. He has a monocle and a top hat. maybe a mustache, but fuck Bullet William. That's kind of the weird stuff that we talk about during our streams.
Yeah, go check it out.
We're fucking crazy.
John, you know what? I really want us to kind of slow down here, and I got something to say. You know.
All right.
There's someone we've known, and they're turning 30 years old. I just turned 30 myself. I know you're close there. There's one of our other friends who just turned 30. So, Mr. Snake, Solid Snake. Happy birthday, Metal Gear. 30 years old. Metal Gear came out July 13th, 1987 on the NES.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. That series is one of my favorites. It's kind of
as old as I am. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. But yeah, happy birthday, Big Boss. We love you. Metal Gear. So, I know you're not... I mean, you've played Metal Gear Solid, correct?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Metal Gear experience? What's your favorite Metal Gear game or experience?
I mean, Metal Gear Solid, the original, it's the only Metal Gear game I've really sat down and put immense hours in.
Yeah.
I've played some of the NES version, but just never to completion, just fucking around. But I got it. I'm talking about that 2-player port, man.
Oh yeah,
the
dude.
secret.
That game has so many fuck with you moments, man. Like the torture scene when you just have to fucking tap the button and just my right arm to this day is bigger because of that sequence where I had to tap. Just because of that alone sequence.
You sure it's just that? You sure it's not
there may be some other things attributing to that, but the main reason is Metal Gear Solid 1. When I had to fucking survive that torture sequence.
Yeah, I just like that there were so many things about that, especially like stuff that you couldn't get away with necessarily today. Like on the back, how it has the secret code for your transmitter or whatever, your walkie-talkie.
I love it. And that's Kojima, man. He does it differently, and he's so unique, and just his style and just the story of Metal Gear. And,
thinking out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite Metal Gear game was Snake Eater. I love that game, but man, this may be not a popular opinion, but the Phantom Pain, dude, it's my favorite game of this generation. It's my favorite Metal Gear game. Mm-hmm. It's not heavy on the story. It doesn't have those crazy long cutscenes and crazy confusing stories like past Metal Gear games, which I love the Metal Gear lore. It's just over the top and fucking crazy. But the Phantom Pain, that game, man, I played it kind of a right time in my life. We had just moved, and that was kind of the game that got me through those first few months, and I sunk a lot of time into it, and it's just so unique. Eventually, I'm going to make John play it.
Yeah.
He hasn't played it yet, and I think that's an excellent starting point because it does kind of tell the story of Big Boss before Solid Snake. Yeah,
the original.
Before all the shit gets crazy. You know, Big Boss and Kiefer Sutherland, he doesn't have a lot of lines, but man, he nails Big Boss, dude. I love that game.
I love the
80s setting. I love the fact that you can pick up fucking, the cassette tapes and jam the 80s soundtrack while you're fucking infiltrating and shit.
Does he sound like Lost Boys vampire? No? Is he like, you're eating maggots, Michael?
No. He kind of he's not a David Hayter, but he kind of mimics that gruffy, low kind of voice. But I love the game, man. It's so unique. It's funny. It's Kojima's last Metal Gear, which really sucks. And the Fox
Konami.
And the Fox engine is beautiful. It really sucks that engine's being fucking just cornered into pachinko machines. And by the way, that fucking Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater pachinko machine looks beautiful. If they would remaster Metal Gear Solid 3 in that shit, I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
But
well, speaking of backlog games that I should be playing in the future, we're not even an episode and a half into our tradition of the backlog, and you're failing me. You're failing me miserably.
You should be used to that by now.
The tradition is not. It's not. We can't even call it a tradition anymore because it's not there. Someone was supposed to play Earthbound, and he has not played Earthbound. So, what do you have to say to our audience?
Blame Persona 5.
Is that it?
That's
all you got?
That's my only excuse.
Blame Persona 5?
That game is still absorbing my life. I play it pretty much every day, at least 5 times a week. I can at least get on there at night, sink 2 to 3 hours into it. But my problem with Persona games, and I did this before, is I just take my sweet time too much. I spend so much time in the Velvet Room. I spend so much time at the shops, and I'm perfecting my team, and I spend too much time in those games. I probably should have beat it by now, honestly.
You should have.
But I'll get there, man. I'm getting close. I just got to the major story point. Kind of the no turning back now point. So
yeah, I think you got about 15 to 20 hours.
No, don't tell
Not
me the
even-
hours.
maybe-
Don't
well,
tell me the
yeah,
hours, man.
Because I mean, you might.
It
Yeah.
might take me 40 hours, knowing how I play
I
Persona.
hope not. I hope
It won't.
not.
No, I'm
because
gonna get
if that's the
there.
point, we'll be episode 5 before you take on your first backlog.
No, hopefully by the next podcast, I hope to have
Well,
Persona 5 completed.
you've given me my second backlog now, so why don't you
Yes.
tell our audience what I'm going to tackle?
So I figured I'd continue the JRPG tradition, since a lot of my favorite games are JRPGs, but a game that John missed out on, I think he has touched it here and there, but one of my all-time favorite JRPGs, Dragon Quest VIII.
Yeah.
I played that shit on the PS2 in high school. It fucking hooked me. I love the fucking art style. The same animator who does Chrono Trigger,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. What's
Akira
his name?
Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama. That
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Fucking love his art style, dude. It's so unique. I love that game. I love the characters. The voice acting is hilarious. It's just the gameplay is super traditional JRPG mechanics. Don't expect any crazy hooks or anything, but the story, the characters, the quirkiness, it's a very unique game. I know you're gonna love it, man.
Yeah, no, and like you mentioned before, I did play it. My friend had it for PS2, and I played it a little bit. Like I mostly watched him play, but I still, if we're talking like on a percentage, I've probably seen like 10 to 15% of the game. So I'm super excited. What were there were some add-ons to this 3DS version though, right?
Yeah,
was it like full-on voice acting?
Yeah,
or?
they added. I think they added some more voice acting. There's some quality of life improvements. Yeah, he's playing the 3DS version, so he's kind of playing the remake. Well, we don't have a PS2 right now, so we have 3DS.
We're so retro.
I know. Fuck. We'll get there. We're gonna get them all soon. But yeah, that's your next backlog game. It's gonna take you a while, so I'll be able to beat
I'm
Earthbound.
excited.
Hopefully, I can beat Earthbound before you beat that one.
Hey guys, if I beat Dragon Quest VIII before he beats Earthbound, he's gonna
Shame.
get a bad reaming.
Shame me.
Shame indeed. All right, so before we hit play on this podcast, we got some terrible news.
Yeah, before we hit record, we discovered that George A. Romero has passed away.
Yeah, it's a fucking shame. I mean,
man, it's
terrible. I mean, he's a guy that if you've watched any movie that had anything to do with a zombie, even if it's just The Walking Dead, even though he had nothing to do with that show wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that man. And he was just 77 years old. I think he had a fight with lung cancer.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was a quick, rapid battle.
But his movie like Night of the Living Dead.
Oh man, the original Night of the Living Dead, the black and white. You know me, John. I love. When in high school, I really wanted to make movies, and it was kind of a dream of mine. And
Still is your dream.
It still is.
Yeah,
I still love doing that, but I love horror movies, and I'll always remember it in middle school. A friend of mine rented Night of the Living Dead, the original, and we watched it, and we laughed at the cheesiness, but you know what, man? That night is the night I fell in love with horror movies.
Yeah.
And I loved zombies, and George A. Romero, I still to this day I think those first three, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, are still the best 3 zombie movies ever made.
Dawn of the Dead, I love.
Yes.
I mean, Night of the Living Dead started it all, and it'll hold a special place in my heart, but Dawn of the Dead is my personal favorite. I absolutely love
I love Dawn
movie.
of the Dead. My personal favorite is actually Day of the Dead, the third one. It's unique. It kind of gets a little more in depth with the zombie lore and the philosophy and that crazy shit. And it just I don't me. I don't normally get torn up by celebrity deaths. I don't like give a fuck normally. But George A. Romero really impacted my life.
But the thing is this guy has created movies. He's spawned on more movies from other people that were inspired by him. That it's basically like he's the Shigeru Miyamoto of horror and zombies
films for sure. Yeah.
So it's something like that. Like he is held at such a high regard in that genre that him passing away, it's like a J.R.R. Tolkien with fantasy. He is with the horror.
He is the zombie master, man.
Yeah.
And in high school, John and I, I was always like trying to make low budget zombie movies in high school and stuff. And we actually, funny story. We were filming a zombie movie, and John was the zombie, of course.
Of course.
So, we made him up with, like, cheap-ass fucking makeup, and we had a black cherry Kool-Aid with corn syrup for blood, and
it was tasty.
And we decided to go to a local graveyard to film. We're like, yeah, that's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Let's trespass on a graveyard and film. So
Perfect.
So we're sitting there, we're setting up the shots. There's maybe like 4 or 5 of us out there, a little crew, and me at the camera and John. And we had an actress, I think. I don't remember who.
Yeah,
it was.
I was like biting her in the neck, and then like I was supposed to I had the Kool-Aid and corn syrup in my mouth, so I was like holding it for a while, and so as I bit, it was like it just like supposed to like splatter out. We had a pretty good shot there.
So we're getting ready to shoot, and all of a sudden we hear, "Hey!" We look around, we're like, "Who the fuck is that?" "Hey! Why are you on my dad's grave?" or some shit like that. We were
we were not on the grave.
Well, we were like very, very close proximity to.
I want to preface that we were not
on the grave. We weren't dancing on the grave. We were close by, but this family had come to mourn their dead father, and we are filming a fucking zombie movie
right in front of like their headstone.
They had flowers in hand. They were like sitting there, like and you could tell maybe it was like a recent death, and
it had to be recent. You could tell like this was recent.
We were like, shit. So
it might have been like a month later. That's how it felt, at least.
They threatened to call the cops and all that shit. We just booked it, and then we went down the street to another graveyard and finished off the scene.
A much smaller cemetery that was less human traffic going around.
Yeah, so
that was awkward. That was
cool. George A. Romero, rest in peace, man. I know you. Just don't come back as a zombie, please. Don't come back and kill us all. Just rest in peace, please.
That would be the ultimate irony. If George A. Romero is the first zombie.
Well, Jesus was the first zombie.
But. Whoa! But no, seriously, rest in peace, George A. Romero. You've inspired so many. He probably, even though he knows he did inspire so much, he probably couldn't even quantify what he did.
He created zombies. He created the modern zombie. So many twists. Every zombie movie you watch, every time you watch Walking Dead, think of George A. Romero because he fucking created that shit. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace, definitely.
So we're going to take a quick break, guys. Just stick around. Hi, you guys!
All right. Welcome back to the Retro Hero Podcast. I hope you had a good break. Thank you for sticking around if you are still around. Maybe. I don't know. But today's main topic of our show is going to be about the dreaded DLC. Also
downloadable content.
Downloadable content. It's good, it's bad, it can be all around. I mean,
it's an interesting topic. It's definitely a more modern gaming thing, but
it has
roots. It has its roots. We'll get to that point, but DLC. It's definitely very prevalent in modern gaming. I mean, pretty much any game that comes out now is going to have some form of DLC, whether it be a story expansion or just cosmetic bullshit, music, bikinis, whatever. I mean.
Oh yeah, man! I love Persona 5 getting that bikini DLC.
Oh yeah.
That one was free though.
Yeah, I still have On in a bikini.
Thank you, Atlas. Thank you for the free bikini freaking DLC.
They knew.
I appreciate it.
They were like, "We'll hook you up."
Yeah.
Here's On in a bikini. Because all the other swimwear is like, but On's.
Oh, you gotta go with.
She got that full on bikini.
Yeah, you got to. But why don't you give us a little bit of just a breakdown of kind of the origins of DLC? Because I know you did your due diligence. You went like all History Channel.
I did.
You kind of went in.
I went down the rabbit hole with some DLC. But okay,
let's do about the origins of DLC.
So I think the origins of DLC aren't even really over the internet downloadable things. I think the origins of DLC to me are PC gaming expansion packs. From back in the day, you got your extra content through going to a store and buying an expansion to that game and adding it, basically coming home, installing the discs, adding it onto the current game. A lot of RTSs had expansion packs, RPGs, shit like that back in the day. And I really think just that I love the idea of expanding on a game after it's released. And I feel like a lot of expansion packs back in the day were pretty full-bodied and meaty, full of content, good shit.
But nowadays though, I guess to play devil's advocate, it was early on it was you get the complete game and then you're getting what we would call add-ons.
Correct.
But now what we're starting to see, and what is going to be a major topic, what we're going to discuss is publishers. They're releasing 75% of a game or not a full game, and then they're like, well, we'll get you to pay full price for a game.
Yeah.
But then to get the full 100% of the game, you're going to have to actually even pay more. Yeah. It's like, that's how they hook you
You're right.
in.
There is a distinct difference. With expansion packs, if they usually come out a year or two after the main games come out, you fucking mastered that main game, and they're like, all right, we know you're tired of that shit. Here's an expansion. Mm-hmm. So, I played a lot of PC gaming back in the day. There were great expansions that came out, typically to RTS games. And then, we progressed through time, and then, in 2003... a little thing called Steam came out, which kind of revolutionized pretty much digital distribution in general. On PC, even now, like console kind of models kind of take after it to this point. And I feel like Steam, with that ease of downloading shit, everything, once Steam came out, everything was downloadable. And it started with Counter-Strike, and that,
yes, I know about Counter-Strike culture.
And all the offshoots of that game, and the different add-ons, and the mods started coming out. And, mods was big, too, on PC. So, I feel like PC really started the DLC, because on a cartridge, an old school,
you
gaming.
Got what you got.
You got what you got. That was the final game. There's no patches, there's no add-ons, unless we're talking about Sega Channel. Remember Sega Channel? But that was one of the first forms of DLC on console, because of Sega Channel, you would hook up over satellite, and you could get extra content.
And Nintendo did that too, right? For a little bit, they did that with their Super Nintendo. Yeah. They called it like the BS. I don't know. I want to say, I always call it bullshit, but they called it BS something. So there was like BS F-Zero, where there was like it was like essentially F-Zero 2 for the Super Nintendo. They even had it was just like little stuff where it was satellite, you connected online. It only happened in Japan though. It did not come to the United States.
Okay.
But
I think I don't know if Sega Channel made it over here. I never really actually used it. I actually never really owned a Sega console in my childhood, so I didn't really get into that. I played my uncles a lot, but yeah, the Sega Channel was kind of, I think, on console, one of those first attempts to add stuff on, or have live sort of events. And from there, with Steam, and then what really put the DLC, the bad DLC taste in people's mouth, and this is kind of like the documented point, was the horse armor in Oblivion. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is an amazing game.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is even I played a little bit of Oblivion. Wasn't hardcore into it, but it was one of those things where even I knew about that horse armor. I knew about it, so why don't you break it down?
You paid money just for cosmetic. It was purely cosmetic. It had no gameplay impact. It had no stat boost. It was just pretty hard armor on your horse. It was like, why are we paying for this shit that has no impact on the game, or it doesn't expand upon the game? You should have just added this into the main game, first of all. But it feels like, I hate that kind of DLC where it feels like maybe at one point it was in the original game and they pulled it out because they want to market that extra content and make you buy it. I know the horse armor was cheap. It was cheap. It wasn't expensive.
Do you think they were just? Do you think it was like an experiment though, to see would you pay for something that doesn't even really enhance the game? Is it something they knew they had a big fan base, but they're just like, hey, if we have this big of, I mean, trust me, that was a huge community that played that game. So it was dude, if they could squeeze out $2-3 for nothing, just a cosmetic change on a horse.
Yeah.
Was that an experiment to see what they
possibly
could get away with?
I mean, it was one of the earliest examples of that. Also with a lot of this is more, I would say, I guess it could be considered DLC, but with some MMOs and some online games, how you can use real money to purchase in-game currency.
Yeah.
Microtransactions.
Oh
yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later on. So maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So backtracking a little bit. So Oblivion horse armor was kind of that first what? Come on, man. Why? Why are you doing this shit?
But people bought it.
Maybe I didn't personally.
You didn't, but people bought it.
Yeah, I guess they did, and So after that, there was DLC. There's other examples of DLC, but to me,
Are you pro or anti DLC though? On a grand, I know that's such a huge question because there's good forms and bad forms of DLC, but in a grand scheme of things, are you pro or anti DLC?
I am typically anti DLC. I wouldn't say anti DLC, but what I hate about DLC are season passes.
Yeah.
I fucking hate the concept of pre-ordering. I don't really pre-order games in general, but the fact of pre-ordering fucking DLC. You're paying an extra $30 on top of an already fucking expensive game. So by the end of that, you're paying $100. And it's like, I don't even know what I'm getting down the road. Sometimes...
I mean, are you talking about, like, for example, like GameStop was pretty notorious for, like, the pre-order exclusive, like, if you pre-order this, you get this gun.
Well, there is that.
If you pre-order through us, like, are you talking about that, or are you just talking about, like, mostly, like, the season pass?
What a season pass is when you buy the game up front, you're like, it's usually about $20 to $30. When you buy that $60 game, you can throw down another $20 to $30, and you're getting basically all the DLC that comes out for that game, you get after that.
But it's not made yet, right? The DLC
no, it's not made, and
yet.
Oftentimes you don't even know what it's going to be.
See, that's just
so you're essentially pre-ordering add-on content for a game you already just paid $60 fucking for. That's expensive enough.
So that's
man.
like me walking down the street. I find a hamburger vendor, and he's like,
"Man,
I got this awesome hamburger, but it's just the buns and the burger. If you want to get that, you want to get the lettuce, the mayo, the pickles,
extra.
It's gonna be extra, right? Like, and it'll be there eventually. Like, here, I'm gonna give you the burger and the buns, but you're gonna get the condiments later. All right? You just trust me on this. I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Like, so,
I haven't cooked the bacon yet, but it's gonna be the best fucking bacon.
It's gonna be the best bacon you've ever had. Yeah. Okay. So all right.
So I just hate season passes, man. That's me. Some of y'all may buy them and you love them and you've had good experiences with them, but I've always hated that concept. But I'm a guy who doesn't pre-order games to begin with.
What if it's like a series that you like totally support though, that has like a long-standing tradition of being good?
You want to know the only season pass I've ever bought in my life is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've bought season pass. You know, I used to be a big into Assassin's Creed.
That's because you're the Zelda fanboy.
Well, yeah, but I used to love Assassin's Creed and those games. They're like, oh, buy the season pass. I'm like, no, fuck no. If I want that DLC when it comes out and I see the reviews on it and see how people like it, I will then consider purchasing it. I'm not going to give you an extra $30. I'm already fucking breaking my bank with $60. You know, that's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap for a game.
I don't have $100. And then if you buy like a collector's edition on top of that,
you mean you don't want the steel case? You don't want the steel case with it, man?
Only if it's fucking free.
I did that for Persona 5.
I got the Persona 5 steel case.
I dropped a little extra
for that. I like the steel case, but I just got it for pre-ordering it, so. And I did pre-order that game too, but I'm a huge Persona fan. I don't pre-order games unless I know for a fact.
A long-standing tradition of like a good series.
I love Persona. I love Zelda. I will always pre-order those games.
Yeah, dude. Shigeru could say that this is the worst Zelda game ever made, and Brad will fucking eat it up,
I will.
dude. He'll eat it up. He'll be like, this is the worst game I've ever made of Zelda, and Brad will buy it. He'll pre-order it.
They did a remaster of the CDI Zelda games. I will be there pre-ordering those. Well, yeah, anyway, so to me, it's not the concept of DLC that I hate, because I do like the fact that I buy a game and, yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it for a while. But when I can get a game like Persona 5 that has 100 hours plus of content in the box, or I can go buy Assassin's Creed plus a DLC and maybe get, 60 to 80 hours for, it just, to me, it's just, I hate season passes. So I rarely buy them.
I agree with you.
Breath of the Wild is the only season pass.
It's like gambling. It's like almost like the stock market.
It kind of is gambling.
It's almost like the stock market. You're buying stock in that game, and you're hoping it's going to be good a couple weeks, months down the road. And you're hoping you're not tired of that game by the time you've already played what you've bought originally. When that season passes up, like maybe you get that DLC, and then you're just like, you're already fucking tired of the game. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, I should have sold that stock before I bought it, or just not bought it at all. So it's just, it's a gamble. It is, but it's the thing. I think the thing that sucks though is the reason why publishers and everything are doing this is we're buying it.
Yeah, well, people buy it.
We're part of the problem. I'm not saying necessarily you and I, but just gamers as a whole.
Well, John and I were talking earlier about sports games, especially where every year you're paying $60 for sometimes just a roster update and a few minor tweaks to the game.
Yeah. Whether it's Madden, Tiger Woods,
NBA
shit. 2K, you're by a year-to-year basis. there might be a little bit of a
they
graphical
just tweak
upgrade.
it. It's a
and
patch,
then you get the rookies, and you get whoever went from different teams to different teams. So like Paul George going from the Pacers to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Congratulations, you got NBA 2K18 or whatever. It's just, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Chris Paul going from the Clippers to the Rockets. It doesn't. It's
every 3 to 5 years they may do a major update to the game, but
from a year-to-year basis, it's
sports game model should be buy the game, and then for the next 3 to 4 years, you just pay like $30 to $40 every year for a roster update, some patch,
every year though. Every year,
$60 a year.
I can't say it for every sports video game, but every year Madden.
Yeah,
that's the always big one. Madden is so FIFA. Bad. But I'm just saying Madden in general, they always make it sound like this is going to be such a huge difference. They're like, there's so much new. It's the best Madden yet. This is going to be so amazing. We added all these new features, and it's the same fucking game. It's the same fucking game, dude.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's just Call of Duty, whatever. But it's just like So I'm a big sports fan, so I did buy some Madden games from time to time, but now
Gramer.
Yeah, it's a Gramer, man. We're gonna introduce you guys to our good friends. Sort of good friend. Well, maybe not friend. I use the word friend lightly, but we have these guys named Tad and Topher.
Yeah, they're bros.
They're Gramers.
They're bros. We'll introduce you guys to what a Gramer is. A Gramer is a guy who claims he's a hardcore gamer, but when you ask him, what you play, man, you're expecting him to say maybe Final Fantasy or Persona, and he's like, man, I play Madden, I play FIFA, I play Call of Duty and Battlefield,
Gears of War,
Forza, and you're like, come on, man. Those are great.
And that's it. They don't care about it. If you mention Super Smash Bros, they're like, that's for kids,
nerds.
Or you mention Final Fantasy, they're like, what?
They just dip their toes into gaming, but they don't go fully in. So those are Gramers. You'll hear that term quite a bit. We're gonna introduce you guys to Tad and Topher, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, they're characters, and we're gonna let them get on our at least on our streams, maybe our YouTube channel.
Yeah, they'll pop in here
from time to time.
When the new Madden or Call of Duty drops, we'll invite them in to play.
Yep.
So now we're gonna get into some actual specific examples. We're going to start out with bad shit, because we like to go with the bad news first.
Yes, bad news first. You always say good news, bad news. You always say bad news first.
Bad news first. You want to end on a good note. So we're going to go with some recent examples. For me, one of the recent examples, and one of the worst, was Star Wars Battlefront. Mm-hmm. It captured the feel of Star Wars amazingly. The music, the sound was spot on. But you paid $60 for a multiplayer only game with not much single player content, no campaign to speak of. There was some I
thought it was none.
You could play solo. It was weird, just side modes. There was no campaign. There was no story.
No campaign though. Okay, that's what I mean. There's nothing. A tutorial mode.
And then you had to buy the season pass, and the season pass was even more expensive than traditional season passes. And you're like, I've already paid $60 for a multiplayer only game, and it was just a mess. And then 3 months after that game released, you could buy it for $20 at Best Buy. Game, that's another reason why I don't pre-order, and I typically like to, unless it's a game that I fucking love since I was a kid, I don't pre-order because of those type of reasons.
No, I don't blame you.
Even though Battlefront looked amazing in the previews, and I was so hyped, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I sat back, and I was like, I'm going to see what happens, and
You made the right decision.
I did, because people liked the game, but it wasn't what they expected. And Battlefront 2 does look to fix a lot of those issues. So
yeah, that's a good thing. Is I feel like Battlefront 2, they're like, yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah.
And we realize how we fucked up, and we're gonna try and fix that.
But it's also EA in particular, man, with their fucking early
the
Origins, their DLC models. I don't like it. I feel like maybe they pushed Battlefront out the door early.
EA is probably the worst example of DLC, like we said with Madden and all that too. They own Madden. They own Madden. So
EA is particularly bad.
is probably the worst DLC company. They try and just get you out of all your money as much as possible. And it sucks. I'm a big NFL fan, so I get it. You want to play the new Madden. I get it. But you're not getting a new game. You're just getting a roster update, maybe a slight graphical update, and they might add one new feature that's kind of fucked up anyways. You get these franchise modes, but they just don't function correctly. Or like you said with Battlefront, it's just, man, I'm serious. I hear EA Sports, and I'm just like, it's in the fuck you, dude. Fuck you, EA, because it's just I don't care for EA. Like, I hate EA Sports. I'm sorry.
Well, I hate
in general.
I hate EA because I don't hate EA, but
I do.
But what I hate about them is there are a lot of games that I've loved, like the Mass Effect franchise, and they bought BioWare. They buy these studios that make quality games, and once EA buys them, they go to shit. They go to shit. So, whatever. EA, you've been around. We have mixed feelings about you. Sticking on the sport genre, another notoriously bad DLC implementation is Tiger Woods 13. I never played the game. I was never a big... Yeah. I liked some, like, fun, like, Hot Shots golf, some more arcadey shit, Mario Golf, but when
That's
it came
why you
to...
need to get on that Neo Turf Masters.
I will, but when it came to, like, sim shit, I didn't care. Plus Tiger Woods, whatever.
Yeah.
But this game, Tiger Woods, PGA 13 in particular, released and had tons of courses on the game, on the disc, locked unless you either purchased them with real money or played such an insane amount of that game that by the time you actually unlock that shit, you were fucking ready to fucking throw that game out the window.
So you said mixed feelings?
On EA?
Yeah.
Well...
do you know who makes the Tiger Woods PGA Tour games?
Fucking EA.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. It's terrible. I've played a lot of Tiger Woods, especially the older ones back in the day, like in my high school days. 13? I played 13. It's just tough, man. They want to add so much crap. Well, no, it's like you said. It's on the disc. That's the worst part is... It's not even like downloadable. This
you
is
just
on
pay to
the
unlock
disc.
it.
Yeah,
it's fucking bullshit.
Crap.
It's
crap.
fucking bullshit.
Crap.
Fuck you, EA. In that case, you may own some of my favorite franchises, but fuck you when it comes to that shit. So next up on the list, another EA game. Well, I don't know. It was BioWare, but EA owns BioWare now. I don't know if they actually own them at this time. But Dragon Age Origins, one of my all-time favorite RPGs. Great characters, great storyline, great quests. But the fact that NPCs in the game asks you, like, broke the fourth wall and asked you to buy DLC.
Like, hey, homie, are you enjoying this game? You would really enjoy it if you bought this DLC, right? They're
like, oi, come over here, I got a quest for you. And you come over, they're like, yo, man, buy this DLC.
It's like, I got this great quest, but you gotta pay me $5.99.
In US dollar, US currency. Like,
USD.
Wait, I'm not even in the US. No, fuck that shit. Okay. Moving on. I don't know. I never played this game, but in my research on DLC, this one popped up quite a bit.
Titties.
A game called Saboteur. Not to be mixed with Metal Gear's Saboteur, but a game called Saboteur. And it was an open world game. It kind of mixed like aspects of like Mafia and some other games like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it took place in like World War II era.
Yeah, he's fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
So
you go. There's a strip club in the game you can go to. Mm-hmm. Strip clubs, cool places, dirty places, depending on how much money you have. But the strippers, their boobs, the boobs you can see the boobs, but the nipple, the areola,
the tassels, right? Or whatever.
You can pay at the time. This has all since been taken off, but at the time you could pay $3 to uncensor their nipples. Mm. So how? I mean,
well, Brad, I do have to say, if I can interject here, if you go to a strip club, you're gonna spend a lot more than $3 to see some nips.
Touche. But in this day and age,
but if you want to see some digital nips. $3, maybe not too bad if you're into that shit.
Yeah, if you look at it from that perspective, I guess it's worth it. But in the terms of the DLC argument, that's bullshit. Yeah. Either give us nips or don't. Don't fucking make us pay for them.
Yeah.
We all have cell phones. We all have internet.
Yeah. I've got a few that I'm pretty not a fan of either as far as DLC goes. And we've talked about this game a little bit ad nauseum. We've talked about it a lot here on the first and this episode of the podcast.
Yeah, still fresh.
Persona 5. What really irks me.
Irks me too.
Really irks me. You want to know what grinds my gears?
John and I are simultaneously irked.
Yes, we are. So when you play Persona 5, it's one of my favorite games. But the thing is every time you get in a battle, you hear Last Surprise.
Yes.
This song.
You know, if you play Persona 5, you know.
So
it's ingrained in your mind.
You fight so many battles and you just hear the song on loop. Sometimes you just blaze through these battles and you get through in like 20 seconds.
But you still have
but
to
then
hear
you fight
that.
a battle right afterwards and you're just hearing that on and over
it's
and
not
over
it's
and
not a bad
over.
song.
It's not until you hear it 1,000 million
it
jillion
just
times.
gets on your nerves.
So what Atlas thought was smart, which maybe it was because I broke down and
we both did.
I broke down and did it, was you could pay $6.99 and get a costume change for all your characters, depending on which one you bought. Mm-hmm. You can pay $6.99.
Yeah, they have a lot of Atlas games. They have like Persona 3, Catherine, Persona 4. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different options there. And Dancing All Night, you know, some of those.
So I bought the Persona 4 because it was still kind of fresh in my mind, and there's that nostalgic factor. I didn't play any of the other ones.
The battle music is just so good.
You get like the Yasugami high school clothing.
The glasses.
Yes. So, and you get the Persona 4 soundtrack for when you beat a enemy and the fight music.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like, that's great, but you're paying $6.99 for that, which is essentially a tenth of the price of Persona 5 for a skin change and a song change when you go into battle, just so you don't fucking go crazy.
So do you think they intentionally did that?
Yes.
To like
Yes.
So do you think they engineered that song to annoy you to the point?
Yes. And see, that's the thing is like Last Surprise is good, but the most annoying part of that song is probably the first 30 seconds.
It's just too in your face,
super loud.
I love the Persona 4 and the Persona 3 battle music because it's like doesn't like take over. Like that Last Surprise just dominates the speakers and it.
Yeah, Persona 4's fight scenes, their fight music. While it's good and it sticks in your head and you hear it a lot, it just doesn't overpower your eardrums like Last Surprise does. Do
you think that's also just attributed to the nostalgia factor of it as well?
No, because I played the game a month ago.
For me, it was a little more nostalgic.
It wasn't nostalgia for me because I had played the game like seriously less than a month before I played.
It's just flat out a better song.
Yeah, exactly. So I can be the one to testify for that. It's not nostalgia.
Even the post battle music, the level up screen or the XP screen is better too, man. I love Persona 5. I love the story. I love the concept. But Persona 4 just has a way superior soundtrack. And I won't say way superior, but it has a superior soundtrack in my mind. The battle music was better. And the fact that it would change. Yeah, Persona 5 does have like a separate song for the bosses, but it doesn't change when you go into an all-out attack mode or anything like that. You know, it's like... It just doesn't have that... In Persona 4, it doesn't get annoying. It hypes you up. It's a catchy song. It just works better.
But it's not too it's just not in your face.
Yeah. Well, I think we're getting a lot off topic here. So the fact that you have to pay $7 per song and one costume for each
that's
character.
Just one. There's at least 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 of them that you could purchase, which would actually end up being more than the game itself if you bought them all.
Yeah. So while we love the game and we love the ability to have that music in the game, we hate the fact that we have to pay $7 for it because we're just sick and tired of Last Surprise. Sorry, some of you may love it, but we
you
get
never
annoyed
saw
by
it coming.
So we need to move on a little bit. But what's another example of some bad DLC that you can think of?
I mean, I'm a big fan of the Fire Emblem series, and we'll keep it quick and short. But it's just like you get the full gameplay. It's not necessarily too bad, but it's just more that the price. It was like if you want to do more missions outside of it, you're paying. I want to say about like $2.99, $2. Sometimes it's $1.50.
You also have the packs you could buy.
It was like per map, per mission.
And if you had bought all the DLC, you probably would have spent more than on the original game. In the new Fire Emblem Echoes, the DLC is more than the game itself.
Yeah, it's just insane to me. That's insane. And it's like, I get it. Like, the people that are hardcore, you get harder missions. The DLC missions are like, I guess, like the true test if you're like a true Fire Emblem player.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, man, like... I have to pay this much. I have to shovel this.
And the
much
games
out.
are already big enough, man.
Yeah,
They're already big enough, and that's. I didn't get into Fate. I loved Awakening. I love old school Fire Emblem. I played every single Fire Emblem release in the States many times, but Fates was too much, man. There's 3 games in Fates.
Yeah.
It's a little too much in my opinion. I mean, I know Sacred Stones had the dual storylines, but it didn't take so long to get through them, and they're brutal, man. Fates is brutal. Awakening was brutal, but Fates, especially on the I think it's the Conquest storyline is especially brutal. And I play on hard mode classic, so
Conquest fucked my world up.
That's just hard. And it's, all I'm saying is the game's already meaty enough, and they're just charging a ridiculous amount for a map or like a DLC character you'll never use. Yeah. But that's some of the bad examples.
Yeah, I mean,
there's many out there. Email us some of your ideas. We'll talk about them on the next show.
But there are good examples.
There are great examples.
You can do it right.
There are. You can.
It's not done very often, but you can do it right.
And one of my personal favorites, and it just this developer and the publisher always hits it right on DLC, and that's Rockstar, and particularly Red Dead Redemption with Undead Nightmare. That is my absolute all-time favorite DLC. The way good DLC expands on the original concept of the game, and you don't have to play it, but I loved going to the graveyards and just being in that world, and that world is amazing enough. The Wild West, and I've loved Red Dead, but when you add that horror element and the zombies, we were talking about George Romero, another DLC that's inspired by that wouldn't be there. That's my particular favorite set of DLC, because it's so good. It expands on the original game in the right way. It doesn't feel like you have to have it, but it's just amazing, man. I highly recommend it if you haven't played Red Dead.
Undead Nightmare could basically be its own game.
It could be, and that's what's great about DLC. You can
that's
good DLC you can play standalone. And typically, like we were saying with expansion packs, you've already mastered. By the time you've already beat Red Dead Redemption, you're like ready for more. And Undead Nightmare was just that perfect, and it was just twisted the formula enough. It wasn't more Red Dead. It added the zombie element to it. So it kind of added that twist, which is what I love about it. And there's some other examples. What do you? I mean,
like for me, if we'll just keep it like with Nintendo. For the most part, I feel like Nintendo was late to the DLC game.
Definitely.
They were definitely late to it, and I understand. They kind of did.
Nintendo's late to every game.
Yeah, they are. But when they did it though, for the most part, I would say they're batting about 900. They're batting about 90%. Like they're doing it right for the most part. Smash Bros, for example, is something you see. You have a complete game. They had so many characters, but it's like, dude, if you want to play with Ryu, Cloud, you want to get Lucas back. Like
I love the aspect when you were kind of like speculating or anticipating what characters were going to be announced. Man, they did it right. They kind of kept you on a string. You're like, what's next?
Yeah. I can't even tell you, when I heard about Cloud being in Smash Bros, there's not many times where I've heard of either a DLC or just a game in general where I had to pick my jaw off the ground. Cloud being in Smash, I was like, I had to call my friends. I'm like, is this real life? Is Cloud gonna be in Smash Bros? Is this real life? You had Bayonetta.
But Nintendo, they bank on nostalgia so well.
They do.
They bank on that so well. But Mario Kart 8 had some awesome DLC as well.
This is where
but it's also a season pass too.
It pisses me off though, because I bought Mario Kart for the Wii U, Mario Kart 8, bought the season passes, I guess you want to say, got the 16 extra courses, but then it's like, you got to buy it again, and I mean, you buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, even though you're not buying the DLC again, you're essentially buying the same game with a better, it's a double dipping. It's what Nintendo does best.
But I think
fuck it, you'll buy it again anyway.
Exactly. We always fork out the money for
Nintendo.
But I think, obviously the Wii U didn't sell great. Yeah. And Mario Kart is still a great... It holds up. I don't think it needs to be updated. We don't need a new Mario Kart. 8 is still an excellent game.
We didn't.
And while...
I'm just saying it hurts the Wii U owner. It hurts actually was true to Nintendo, bought it then, and then it's like, well, fuck you. If you want to play it again and you want to be back,
they don't really give a fuck about Wii U
They don't.
owners. So
they don't. Oh, you were loyal to us? Well, fuck you.
Yeah, and we also like what I like about Nintendo as well with their season passes. Even though I hate season passes, they kind of give you a little roadmap of what to expect. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not just like pre-order it. We'll tell you the details later. They're like, okay, you're gonna get shit here. You're gonna get shit this time. I mean, with Breath of the Wild, they didn't really expand on it right away, but you kind of knew at the times you were getting shit, and they kind of laid it out a little better than some other companies, I feel like. And we still don't know the Champion. We know a little bit about the Champions DLC in Breath of the Wild, but we don't know the full details on it yet, and we'll see. But I think they're doing it right, man. I think they're doing it right. They're adding good, meaningful content. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Nintendo, we'll see how they do it, but you know, they're new to the game. They're doing it right so far. Don't fuck it up. Some other of our favorite DLCs and shit that, you know, does it right, expands upon the base game, or tells a prequel story is Last of Us Left Behind.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, you can buy Last of Us, you have the game, it's a complete game, perfect. But if you want to add on to the story, the prequel with Ellie...
Yes.
It's some lesbian love.
It's another one of my favorite DLCs. I actually didn't play it until I bought the remaster with PS4 and it came on there, and I was like, man, I should have bought this when it came out because it was that good, man. It's the right length.
You like Super Soaker fights in the mall?
Dude, I loved that bit, man. We grew up in the 90s. We played with Super Soakers. And when I came across that bit, I loved it, man. It was such a good, happy moment until everything got fucked.
Yeah.
But
that's Last of Us.
Left Behind, amazing DLC. Mass Effect 2, probably the best of the Mass Effect series. Another one of my personal favorite games and series. Had some great DLC. The Lair of the Shadow Broker expanded. It was more like add-on missions. It didn't really like...
Yeah.
It was basically you beat the game, you mastered it, and they added like meaty missions
like Fire Emblem in a way ish.
But they were good full story missions with voice acting and a good story arc, and it kind of followed some of the side characters. Kasumi Stolen Memories was another good one. She was like this master thief, and you got to help her out with this heist, and it's just cool, man. Those are DLCs that, especially with Mass Effect, where it's such a big, deep universe.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I feel like you didn't have to play those games, those DLC add-ons, but they expanded the side characters and your party members so much more that they were awesome. And eventually, I think, usually with DLC, if you just wait till a Game of the Year edition, you're going to get all that shit on there anyway. So that's another thing about being a gamer. Do you fucking buy it day one and pay all the upfront on DLC, or do you wait for the Game of the Year edition to come out? Which is like what I did with Witcher 3, because I know that's such a meaty game, and that's another game with fucking excellent DLC from what I've heard. Haven't played it, but from what I've heard, like the Blood and Wine and all those DLCs for Witcher 3 are like as big as the main game, dude. And you get full story, you get full voice acting, you get everything.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of like our topic here. There are some developers that release you 75% of the game, and then they want at full price, and then they want you to pay more for the other 25%. But then you have other developers that will give you 100% of the game, but if you're still wanting more, they're going to give you more for a little bit more. But it's worth it. It's like you said, The Last of Us.
So you can see a pattern here. Good DLC is shit that expands upon the main game, is not necessary, but helps you get more backstory or puts a twist on the game, puts a little twist on the world, and lets you see it in a different perspective. So we're getting a little crunch for time here, so we're going to speed things up. We were going to talk a bit about microtransactions. Fuck microtransactions. We'll get to that on another episode.
Yeah. Microtransactions, fuck them.
That's how we feel.
All right, so what we're going to do, we got a new concept that we want to add to our show. We're calling it the question of the show, question of the day.
Question of the show!
Wild Stallions! But, so, this is a question that I've actually seen on the internet. It wasn't posed by any of our fans, because we don't have any. Just kidding. But,
we have one!
We have one!
Rare Phoenix 567. You're our first fan.
Shit! But, so our question, though, that I want to kind of send us off on is, if you could live in any video game universe for, like, the rest of your life, which one would it be, Brad? What would you do?
This one was tough for me because you kind of put me on the spot right before the show started, and
well, that's kind of
it's tough because I thought about most video game worlds are like ravaged or torn or like war torn. I don't want to live in those places. Where I want to live, and this is fresh in my mind, so I may be a little biased. It's Persona 5, man. Yeah. I want to be a goddamn Phantom Thief. I think it's awesome. I love love Tokyo. I love Japan. I love the culture. I always wanted to go there, and I love like high school Japanese kind of shit in video games and anime and the Phantom Thieves especially. Having that power, being a part of that group, and just kind of living in Japan, hitting up girls, going to work, carefree.
I think you're really just saying that because you want to hit on Japanese high school.
Well,
girls.
there is that.
I really think that's the only. You're talking about you're like Phantom Thieves.
Yeah.
No, actually, I just want to hit on hot Japanese.
I just want to
girls.
go. Yeah, I want to hit on Makoto. What up, Makoto? She's best girl. Makoto's best girl.
Haru's best girl. Don't listen.
No.
But anyways.
But yeah, I want to be a Phantom Thief, man. I would like change. I would like go after like the Rothschilds and all the fucked up, all the Illuminati. I'm gonna take you on. I'm gonna change your heart. I'm gonna expose all the fucking corruption in the world. That's what I would do, man. I would want to be a Phantom Thief. What about you?
So my pick, I had to do some thinking about it, but as weird as it may sound, I want to live in the world of Wave Race 64. Yes, Wave Race 64.
So you want to live in the 90s forever?
Sure, yeah. I just want to be on Kawasaki, freaking jet skis at, gorgeous beach destinations, vacation destinations, probably partying on the beach. You're riding, you got dolphins around, you go on, jumps and everything, just having a good time. You come in third place? Hey, you come in third place. Whatever. You go to the next place. We'll go around. We'll have a good time. Party it up, drink a lot of beer on the
Wave
beach.
Race would be awesome, man.
Wave Race 64.
You fucking party all the time, bro. Yeah. Wave Race.
Party square. Yeah.
You know that Wave Race, bro. You gonna hit up that race?
Oh, you know it. So, I think
that's actually a really good one, man. When you told me that, I was like, dude, that's a good one. Because,
you're like, fuck,
because it's constant partying. You're on a beach. You're in tropical locations. You're probably sponsored by someone, so you don't have to worry about paying bills. Kawasaki got your back.
Yeah. Kawasaki, why don't you sponsor this podcast?
Yeah, Kawasaki, man. Give us some money. I know you got tons of money over there. We love you. We love you, Kawasaki. I actually have a Kawasaki. No, I don't. It's a Suzuki.
Oh, dude.
So, yeah, those... Good answer, man. Good answer. Wave Race, that's a good one.
Good answer. It's like we're on Family Feud. Good answer. But I think that's going to wrap up our episode 2. So if you really like what you listened to, you can hit us up on Patreon. Throw us a buck.
Yeah, just, man.
Throw us a buck.
I know you got $1 just sitting around.
You got $1.
Don't go to McDonald's and go on the value menu. Just give us that
If you listen to us for over an hour, throw us a buck.
Throw us a buck.
That's all we ask for.
Because the more money we get, the better shit you're gonna get. So it's a circle of life.
So if you think this is good now, it's only we're like at the bottom of the hill. We can only go up from here. So patreon.com/retrohero. You can hit us up there. If you want to follow us on Facebook, we really recommend it. We're gonna go on that. So it's facebook.com/retrohero podcast. We are on Twitter at the Retro Hero, and you can hit us up on YouTube. Just type in Retro Hero Podcast in the search engine. You'll find us there.
Cool.
And then if you have any questions or any comments or anything like that, retroheropodcast@gmail.com will be...
We need questions. We want to answer. Yeah. We want to read through your questions on the show. So give us some material, please.
Yeah, we want to be very...
We're tired of making up our own questions.
We want to be very friendly to our audience members.
Yeah, and we're on Google Play. You can get us on the Google Play
SoundCloud.
Music. We're on SoundCloud. We're still getting on iTunes. That's still a process.
We will be there.
If you search us in Google, you're going to find us. We're getting out there. We're getting everywhere. We want to be everywhere. We want to be like the Illuminati. Like, you're never going to be able to escape us, man. We're going to control your life.
And just stay tuned. On YouTube, we're going to release our Super Mario Brothers 3 stream. It's going to be good. Where Brad actually
fuck Bowser up.
So thank you so much for listening to the Retro Hero Podcast. Hit us up next time. We love you guys. Peace out.
Yeah.
Peace out, Girl Scout.